All right, we're back, and I am Ralph the coach.
I am Candy from Candy Conversations.
And you know how we do, we don't waste any time. We go
No.
right into these questions. I hope you are prepared. Talking to everyone and Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I had the idea to make this a little bit like a game. The goal for today is to give you some questions to think of that you can ask someone as you're getting to know them.
Oh,
Um, and several of these, well, all of these questions come from a card deck that a good friend of mine gave me entitled "Who Are You?" Um, so what I did was I pulled a few face down, and I'm going to let you choose, Ralph, the topic. And then
okay.
I'll pull that card and share the question. So make it a little bit fun. I'm not looking at the questions right now. I'm just looking at the topic
The
for
top.
that
Okay.
question. So here are your options: self awareness, fears and insecurities, the
Hmm.
second one, possibilities and potential, or connections.
Fears and insecurities.
Okay.
Or 500, please.
For 500. Oh, this is a good one too. So the question is, and again, the idea is that our viewers would mirror this when they're kind of talking to someone and getting to know them or
Okay.
yourself. Um, do you listen to your inner voice or are you easily swayed? I already know this by others' opinion.
Ha!
I mean, we're gonna act like we're doing this for real. Like I don't know what your response would be.
Okay, because I was like, oh, what do you say? I listen to my inner voice,
hmm hmm
but I want to put a little ba-doom doom on that.
Okay.
So I did not realize this until I got older.
hmm
Um, the why doesn't, well, I take that back. But anyway, um, I didn't realize it till so me listening to my inner voice, and I think we said on here before, your inner voice comes from your caregiver, your parent,
hmm
just you before you get your internal voice, how you were spoken to
hmm
um by that influential person in your younger years, right?
hmm
So, because I was raised by a confident woman, I am confident,
hmm
right? So I tend to have self-security.
mm
And because I tend to, I will, it doesn't mean I don't ask for help or advice. So I'm like, what do you think about this? Or what do you think I should do
Right.
this? Just to, to give me more insight. And sometimes, I just run with it, right? Or I just
hmm
do what I feel is best for Raphael. Honey,
hmm
when I choose to do what's best for Raphael, for some
Yeah.
people, wrong answer. Wrong answer.
hmm
And
hmm
even if I'm like, and I'm saying like I choose what was right, what I felt was right for me, and it ended up being what was best for me, still wrong. Still
mm
wrong. You're still wrong,
hmm hmm
right? Because then it's a um yeah, it worked out for you this time, but you don't think you were selfish? You don't think,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You didn't consider this, that, and the third, but it
hmm
don't affect them. It affect me.
Right. 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 Right.
So I realized like when I was younger,
Mm.
I was definitely more sensitive, still sensitive. That's why the Leo roars. But honey, you hurt my feelings, I'll maul you to death. Okay. I will
Right.
maul you to death.
Right.
Um, but younger, I internalized that like, making it as most children do, they make it their fault. Like why people don't like me, why do people think that I'm like this? And but for whatever reason, I can't go back to my 8-year-old mind on everything or 9-year-old mind, but I didn't change who I was. So
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I was just more so sad. Sad when those situations would happen. And then as I got to be an adult and starting to see the pattern, then I still was sad, but I'm like, more curious to what is this about? And then
Hmm.
at this big age now, I'm like, definitely I don't give a whatever.
Right. Right.
Did you die? Because I chose myself, did you die?
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Right. Of course, I'm over here writing notes per usual. So again, the question was, do you listen to your inner voice or are you easily swayed by others' opinion? For me, I would say I've shifted into just full transparency. I've shifted into listening to my inner voice. And to explain that shift, on one side, I used to be that child or a young adult that would be like, well, what do you think? What do you think I should do? What do you think? And even if it didn't feel fully right to me, I did what others thought because, I felt like, well, this is my friend or this is this person.
yeah,
They're going to tell me what's best.
yeah,
Not realizing at that time that their opinions are skewed based on what they think is best, and that may not be what's best for me.
right.
On the flip side, as well, still while being swayed in others' opinion, and again, let me reiterate, this is former Candace. Sometimes that inner voice, as Ralph just said, when how you were raised or whatnot,
Hmm.
love my parents to death, but a lot of what they thought was best for me was not best for me
Right.
because I am not them. And sometimes they come from the angle of what they would want for me, but what they want for me wasn't necessarily what I wanted for myself. So,
Hmm.
still in hearing their voices in my head, I would still have that. I remember always feeling like, and it would take me so long to do things because I really didn't want to do it, but it was the voice I was hearing at the time.
Yeah.
Then in the middle, when I started healing, therapy, sitting in my mess, trying to figure out why there were certain patterns, not pointing the finger at others, trying to really see my place, my role in it all.
Hmm.
When I spent time with that, the inner voice is different now. I don't really ask a lot of people's opinions about things. A lot of times now it's like, hey, I thought about it and I'm going to do this. Like, so even if I, like, for example, we're sharing something with Ralph, a lot of things I share with Ralph, I don't share with a lot of other people because I know that while she wants what's best for me as well, I do also know she has the capacity to say, look, I feel like this and I know I react in this way, but I'm happy for you, or maybe think about this, or she's not interjecting herself.
Yeah.
And I know that's even with her healing, understanding, that's hard when you have affection for a person. But again, I know she has the capacity to do that. I wouldn't share some of the things that I share with her with people who are going to interfere with what I know is best for me.
Yeah.
Um, she knows a lot of that too because she's been along on this ride of healing and whatnot as well. So my inner voice now, absolutely. That's what I move with. Like, I honestly won't do certain things until I hear it. I can know, another thing that I've shifted into, I've done so much work that I already know it. The inner voice now for me is confirmation
Yeah.
of what I've already decided for myself. So that's my guide. My guidance is now confirmation. And that to me is just like growth. So I've gone from, I don't know if I should do this. So let me ask all these people
Hmm.
to this is my heart's desire. This is my purpose. I'm just waiting on the confirmation through the inner voice. And inner voice for me now, when I was younger, it was more like family, friends, whatnot. Now to me, it's God. It's some of it is still my parents, but most of it is God.
Hmm.
Um, and but it's kind of was one of the things I'm really proud of for myself because I was a person who I think a lot of my wanting to know what people thought was because of the shy kid trying to be accepted.
Ah, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
I had a voice and I wanted other people's voices to matter, so I took their opinions when I
Hmm.
really didn't need it. Um, but yeah, that's a
Learn a
whole
lesson. Learn a lesson.
that's a
So
whole nother thing right there. But yeah, I like that. Inner voice is huge.
I
Goes back
wanted
to
to.
our last talk about sitting with yourself and healing and
Oh.
self-reflecting.
Hmm.
That's where that inner voice really starts to grow. My bad, you were about to say something. I kind of
Well,
couldn't.
I'm still because you know how we do bounce, but that's when you learn to listen to it more. But that's what I was going to say. Some people may say, I don't know, I don't know how to distinguish, you hear me say, I don't know how
Mm.
to distinguish, or I don't know how to hear from God, or I don't know what my inner voice sounds like because you've learned to muffle it or you've learned
Yeah.
to ignore it. And so sitting with yourself and doing a self-reflection, again, it doesn't have to be a quiet space or whatever, but just being intentional of just like how you can zone out when you're in a conversation with somebody, zone out, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And listen to your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? Just let them just go because they're going anyway. So just
Right.
let your thoughts go, and then it may get to a point where it gets to like, oh shit, she listening to us. He listening to
Right.
us. And then you can kind of like, because a lot of that muffling
Mm-hmm.
is because, and I hate to do this, but it is what it is. And I said this on here before, that when we have learned to drown out those thoughts and feelings with distractions, with the phone, with alcohol, with sex, with
Mm-hmm.
drugs. Yeah, we're definitely not hearing or feeling those things, right?
Right.
So then that means if you're seeking to, hear or feel our inner thoughts,
You need to be clear.
we would have to stop those distractions to do that. So,
Right.
some people say if they were to fast, again, fasting is on you. You can fast for
Right.
2 days, you can fast for 30 days, you can fast for 6 months, for all, whatever you can withstand.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, some people find so much clarity, and that's because the distractions
Are
have been
gone.
eliminated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And things do
Mm-hmm.
become clear, things do become louder, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're withholding to gain so much more in the
Right.
process of fasting. Another way is just really for real, just you're going to have to cut back on things. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You're going to have to cut back on entertaining people. You're going to have to
Woo.
cut back on the use of alcohol and drugs. You're going to have to cut back on being on how to say doom scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram and TikTok and all these other things. You're going to have to cut back on having your friends distract you. You have that person, hey, you want to come over? Hey, can I come over? Hey, what you doing? You want to go out this weekend? They're using you for a distraction because I don't want to sit in this house and be with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because what are they going to tell me? But then
Right.
when it's time to make a decision, that's why you don't know what to do because you don't trust yourself. And so I do have to get feedback
Right.
from somebody else because I can't trust what my voice to tell me.
Right. Right.
So my second thing I wanted to touch on, just for example, when you were saying, when you care and love for somebody so much, it's hard to not to intercede in, I guess, decision makings for them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was put in that situation. I don't think it applies if you're a parent that
Mm-hmm.
actually loves their child. I have to say that. Um, but when like friends, intimate relationships, when you know someone is not in a good situation, you know
Mm-hmm.
someone, for guys and girls, you know someone that's in a bad relationship, you know someone is not in a good position at their job, but they are hell bent on doing what they want to do. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to be that friend, honey. My dad used to be like, "Girl, why you keep dragging this horse to the water?" Honey, I take that horse by the neck, and I'm just like, "Just drink it.
Right. Right. Right.
Drink the water." You'll see. And but it's like you can't do that. You have
Mm-hmm.
to let people. And so I love that you said this because it's bringing a point. I remember I'm passionate. That's the Leo thing. We're passionate. Honey, if you doing my friend wrong, yes, it may come off like I'm yelling at you, but I'm more upset that this person is playing. You know how
Right. Right.
I will be cussing and fussing. I'm not cussing and fussing at you. I'm cussing and fussing at the situation. I'm just that
Right.
passionate
Right.
about it, right? So I'm probably in one of these cussing and fussing moments, and the person asked me, it was something like, what is basically they were asking me a question like what is something that I need to work on or whatever like that. And
Mhm.
clearly what I said and what they said were two different. So then I had to go ahead and reel it right on back for them because you one thing you're not gonna do is tell me about me. And that is one of the reasons why I've done work, not to be, cocky or anything, but
Mhm.
because when I was young, I used to hate for someone to tell me, like even my grandma, I would hate for someone to tell me about me. So if I don't like for somebody to tell me about me, what do I need to do? I need to learn me. So then if there's
Right.
things that I need to work on, I need to check myself first because I don't
Mhm.
like nobody to come to me like, girl. And I know there are moments, but that has decreased those because I
Right.
know I don't like it. So if you don't, I need to do it first.
Mhm.
Let me,
Mhm.
let
Mhm.
me, let me go ahead and punch my own self in the gut because
Right.
I can take that better than somebody else coming to me and telling me.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
So
Right.
I said, oh, this is where I'm, currently working on now. They're gonna tell me, well, I think you like to fix people. I said, oh no, honey. Oh no, I'll watch you walk into the fire. And these days I will watch you walk right into the fire. Now, on that walk to the fire, will I be like, oh God, I understand why you feel you need to do this, but this is really dumb. And let me tell you why this is dumb.
Mhm.
Am I stopping you? Am I pulling your arm? Am I? No. Go ahead. Because guess what?
Mhm.
You getting burned the hell up has nothing to do. It's not going to affect me.
Right. Right.
Do
Right.
I want to see you do this? No.
Right.
The thing is where I get passionate because I'm a witness. It's just like a parent. Yeah, you don't. Your child has to learn how to walk, but every time that child hit that ground, you be like, "Oh God, Jesus!"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
gotta let you do it, or
Right.
you're gonna always look for me every time you hit the ground. You go, how we look at the kids when they about to cry and be like, don't make don't make a
Mhm.
face because then they gonna cry.
Mhm. Mhm.
I gotta let you hit the ground and be like, it's okay, it's all right, but I don't intervene.
Right.
Go ahead, get up, you can do it, get up. They get back up, and then they hit them 5, 6 steps, and you be like, ah.
Right.
And that's what I do now. I
Mhm.
hate to see you do it, but I'm gonna let you do it because that's what you want to do.
Right.
And it doesn't
Right.
affect me. So, to the person of you're watching, sucker, not playing. Okay.
Look, all right,
To all
notes.
my
Because
fixers out there, you don't have to fix them, child. You ain't got to fix them.
I mean, you said something about listening to your thoughts, and it made me think of, like, we were talking earlier about I went to the gym, things weren't available, and I got frustrated. So I was like, you know what? It's gonna be a great day. I'm just gonna leave and I'm gonna have to do this workout again another day, tomorrow morning, maybe. So I left, and in the process of so when you start to listen or recognize that inner voice, you don't even have to stop and have true protected meditative time. It just the voice just speaks
Yeah.
regularly. So as I got in my car and I left, and I told myself, it's okay. You have things to do today anyway. You would much rather have a great workout than a rush workout and it not be what it's supposed to be. And in that moment, I heard time to get a home gym. And I instantly was like, yeah, because I already got some pretty decent. I got a walking pad. I got some good free weights already. Got all the bands and the balls and the foam rollers and the mats and there are a couple pieces of things that I would still need, but honestly, I could get a legit home gym for honestly a few $100s,
Yeah.
not spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, I started hearing you're going to save time going to and from the gym.
Hmm.
um you won't really have any excuse as to why you're not getting those workouts
Honey,
done,
it's 5 steps, ma'am.
all the things, right? So again, that is what would have been a frustrating moment for me previously, because I was like, oh, I gotta do this and I'm wasting my time. I just said, you know what? No. It puts you in a different mindset too, because you're always open to hearing. So that made me thinking that listening to my thoughts, and I knew that was a God thought, because I was just like, well, I'm gonna just have to do it tomorrow. But it's like, no, it's time for you to really start thinking about getting a home gym. Bet, say less, big God. Um, and then you said something about cutting back, and I wrote cut back. but I
If
don't
you
remember
want
why
to
I
hear
wrote.
you, I was saying if you want to hear you, you need to cut back on the distractions. I don't know if that's going to jog your.
No, it's something. It might come back to me.
Okay.
But you also just said that you hate to see people doing it, and I'm there with you too. Like I'd be like, "This is so," because you want what's best for that person. But I will say, because you've done it for me, Candace. Why are you doing that? Why da 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 da? And some of the situations that I still stepped into and went through, even though they weren't for me,
Mhm.
in hindsight, I knew I needed to do it because there still came lessons from it.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Mhm.
didn't make me feel good going through it, of course, but then I had to take on the mindset of, what did you learn from that? Like, and how can you use that moving forward? And it's helped me take a step back when you hate to see people doing certain things, but like, you know what? They got to go through this for
You
whatever
got to go
reason.
through it on your own.
I
Yeah.
don't even fully understand what it is, but you know what, God, if you brought them to this, and I know I'm always paying protection over my people, they gonna be okay. There's something gonna come out of this for them. And then we kind of had a little chit chat earlier about something. You got some experience for the future,
Yeah.
and you didn't know that in the moment, but but
But I can say because I didn't know initially, but I got to it still in the moment, and I'm gonna say as to why. Because I started doing this. I started doing this when I used to live in Charlotte.
mm-hmm,
Because here's another thing that I worked on. This is something that I saw in myself I didn't like, right? I
mm-hmm.
don't, I mean, I don't know nobody who does, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't. I don't like the challenges, um
Oh,
the hard times, you know what I'm saying? When I got to be in the trenches, right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't like it. And so I don't remember if it was church or an older person that told me but it was just like it flicked on a light for me because a lot of us when we are going through tough times and stuff, you're like, God, man, come on. It's like every time I turn around, it's something,
Mm-hmm,
or it's just like, why I can't get a break?
mm-hmm,
Why me? Whatever the
mm-hmm,
situation, all valid, right? Now I get excited.
mm-hmm.
But let me go back to what I hate. I hated the time, you know,
Yeah,
the impatience. I'm like, because I want this to be over.
right, right,
Like, when
right.
is this gonna be over? You just stepped into the trial and you like,
Mm-hmm,
oh,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
30 minutes in, when is it gonna be over?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now I get excited because I know once I am met with a challenge or trial, I'm thrown in the trenches. What I need to learn.
Right.
Because the moment I learn that fast, I'm out of this shit.
Mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm.
already start looking around for what is the lesson for me or what
Mm,
is the service for me.
mm.
Because not all the time it's the lesson for
Ooh,
me. Sometimes I'm
that'll preach.
sometimes I'm being used for their lesson, so I'm being used for service, right? So in that moment that I
Mm,
was speaking about, I could see, oh, so what I'm saying, I've been divorced almost 2 years now, right? And
mm-hmm.
initially, I'm not the person who jumped from one relationship
Yeah.
to the next. So
Mm-hmm.
initially, I'm like, I don't want nobody to bother me, Jesus. I just need to focus
Mm-hmm.
on doing what I need to do in my child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, as someone who is a loner,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it is what it is. But after, I want to say, what, a year and some change, a year and a
Mm-hmm.
half, I ain't gonna say even early. It was a minute because I used to
Mm-hmm.
block up.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I might want a little text come through my phone, a little ding. This. So in just talking, I realized what I've probably been doing before, but just hankering through
Mm-hmm.
because I love my company because I'm not a person and it just could have been how I grew up. I don't mind. being by myself. I really like my company.
Hmm.
It could be being a Leo. We like solitude. That's why when
Hmm.
people are like, oh, y'all love. No, no, we don't. We hate people. No, we don't. Um,
People love y'all.
yeah, people love us. We like to be by ourselves because we gotta recharge from y'all. We gotta recharge. Um, I realized within talking to this young man that I will find a way to leave. And I said, "Oh, girl." But I'm used to one, what we say, sitting with myself. So then I could,
Hmm.
and then again, I told you, I like to go ahead and punch myself in the gut. So I'm like, "Girl, honey, you be trying to find a reason to jump out the window."
Yeah, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like anything. I'm not like putting things there, but I'm just gonna throw my daddy under the bus a little bit. When I was young, he used to tell me my maiden name is Jordan. And so he would tell me, it depends on, say if I was coming to him for whatever reason and I'm upset or sad about something. And he'd be like, you need to understand you a Jordan. You don't have to deal with that. And when I tell you, am I dating? I ran with that. I ran. When I tell you, them cleats ain't had nothing. There was fire coming from my cleats. The moment you do something to upset my nerve, the moment you do something I don't like, the moment you do something that look it
Right,
could be janky, but it looked like it could be janky,
right. You was
I'm already
done.
saying to myself, I ain't gotta deal with this.
Right.
And I'm gone before they know it.
Mhm.